Alright, so now we're going to respond to notable births and deaths of 1933. And these are notable because I heard of these people. So, I went to the Wikipedia page, jotted down the names that I recognized, and here's the resulting list. Obviously, because I'm an ignorant American and all that, a lot of the people on this list will be from the United States. But I do assure you that there are some people from other countries who found their way into this little list. So, yeah, I'm a little bit multicultural, a little bit multinational, and all that stuff. So, we're gonna start with February 13th with Kim Novak, an American actress, who I recognized from the film Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock. On February 18th, we had Yoko Ono, Japanese-born singer, artist, and widow of John Lennon. Now, a lot of people accuse her of being the person who broke up the Beatles, but I don't know about that. And here's something that might actually get under people's nerves, or on people's nerves, whatever. I actually don't hate all of Yoko Ono's music. In fact, on some level, I even appreciate some of the trollish aspects of what she's done. I think, and not only does she actually have some good, relatively normal songs in her arsenal, but at the same time, I can appreciate some of the weirder shit she's done. You know what I mean? Like, I do appreciate artists who actually go out there and just do whatever they want. I might not always like what they do, like the finished product, but I can appreciate originality. Anyway, on February 21st, Nina Simone was born. She's, of course, a famous singer. On March 14th, Quincy Jones, the music producer and composer, was born. March 15th, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was, of course, a Supreme Court justice. She died in 2020. Oh yeah, I should mention that Nina Simone died in 2003. On March 18th, Unita Blackwell, the civil rights activist, was born. She died in 2019. On April 15th, Roy Clark, the American country musician, died in 2000. He was born in 1933 and died in 2018. So a lot of these deaths are actually fairly recent. Anyway, Roy Clark, a lot of you out there are going to be like, oh, I don't like country music. Country music sucks and blah, blah, blah. But definitely put that bias aside and listen to some Roy Clark sometimes. He was like a freaking brilliant guitarist. And I'm sure he might have played some other musical instruments as well, but he definitely did some stuff that could knock the average person's socks off. Anyway, also on April 15th, Elizabeth Montgomery, the actress known for Bewitched, was born, and she died in 1995. Let's see, April 19th, Jane Mansfield, the actress, was born, and I guess she died at a young age she died in 1967. So that would basically mean she was 34 years old or something like that when she died. April 26th, 1933, Carol Burnett was born, the American actress, singer, and comedian. April 29th, Rod McEwen, the singer, songwriter, and poet, was born. He died in 2015. Also on April 29th, Willie Nelson was born. He's the famous singer, songwriter, musician, and sometimes actor. I guess he's also a producer, author, poet, and activist. So, quite a virtuoso in many ways, actually, like a Renaissance figure, if you think about it. Granted, I haven't seen too many movies that he's been in, but I know I've seen Thief, and that movie is actually pretty good. He plays a fairly minor role in it, but it's not like he completely butchers the performance or whatever. It's a good movie. Of course, Willie Nelson is also known for smoking the doobage. Anyway, May 3rd, 1933, James Brown was born, the soul musician. I also call it, like a lot of people say he's the godfather of soul, but I consider the funk part to almost outweigh the soul portion. Not like there has to be some battle between the two, but he did a whole lot of stuff that influenced funk music, and of course, to a large degree, hip hop. He died in 2006, so he lived a fairly long life. May 7th, John Unitas, the American football player, was born, and he died in 2002. I know him from a certain episode of Nickelodeon's The Adventures of Pete and Pete, where he figures pretty heavily into the storyline. Other than that, I don't really know that much about him. I guess he's a legendary football player. May 11th, Louis Farrakhan was born. He's the Muslim leader. He's said some controversial things throughout his, career, I guess you might say. But nevertheless, an interesting figure, very influential. June 8th, Joan Rivers was born. American actress, comedian, and television host. She really proved very early on that women can be quote unquote edgy comedians as well, and she definitely paved the way for a lot of female comedians. She died in 2014, and it seems like her legacy is downplayed a little bit. I don't want to exaggerate how much it's downplayed, but it seems like it's a little bit downplayed, you know what I mean? On June 10th, F. Lee Bailey, the American lawyer who defended O.J. Simpson, was born. June 11th, Gene Wilder, the actor and, I guess, screenwriter. Oddly enough, I don't think the Wikipedia page mentioned that he's a screenwriter and a musician. Maybe they did, I don't know. I just kind of copied and pasted. But anyway, he died in 2016. I almost screwed up and said 2006. June 20th, Danny Aiello, the actor, was born. He died in 2019. So, born in 1933, lived to 2019. Pretty long life. June 22nd, Dianne Feinstein, the politician, senator, and former mayor of San Francisco, was born. I know her partly because, she's obviously a very famous American politician. But I think one of my first introductions to her was Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys trashing her. As he was known for doing. Let's see, we also had, on July 20th, 1933, Cormac McCarthy, the Pulitzer Prize-winning author, and he wrote No Country for Old Men, for example. But anyway, he was born, and I don't know, I can't say I've read any of his books, even though I was a literature major in college. But, he's obviously quite influential. July 29th, 1933, Lou Albano, the Italian-American professional wrestler, manager, and actor. He died in 2009 as well. He played Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Really a very lovable portrayal of the character. It could almost bring a tear to one's eye, because it's so cute and funny. On August 1st, 1933, Dom DeLuise, the American actor and comedian, was born. He died in 2009. See, August 4th, 1933, Sheldon Adelson, American business and casino magnate, was born, and he died he died this year, 2021. Oh, here's another good one. August 11th, Jerry Falwell, the evangelist and conservative political activist, was born. 1933, of course. He died in 2007. Now, there's a lot I could say about him, but, I think a lot really could be encapsulated by the whole Teletubbies fiasco. Go ahead and look into that. It's just zany. He was arguing that the Teletubbies were promoting a gay agenda and stuff like that. It's like, it's self-parody at that point. Like, you almost subtract from the comedic elements by even making fun of it. But anyway, August 16th, 1933, Julie Newmar was born, the American actress known for playing Catwoman in the Batman TV series. And of course, she had other roles too, I'm sure. And apparently she's still alive, I guess. August 18th, 1933, Roman Polanski, the Polish film director, obviously, he has a checkered history, or however you want to put it. Definitely did some bad things. But at the same time, I separate the artist from the art. And I have to say, Rosemary's Baby is kind of a horror masterpiece movie. And Repulsion is actually pretty good, too. So, I mean, yeah, I could feel guilty for liking his movies and whatnot, but really, if you look behind the scenes, a lot of artists, directors, creative types, musicians, you'll find that they've done some questionable things, Just like your neighbor across the street probably did something fucked up in their history. It's just part of the human experience. Not to say everyone's done things as bad as what he did, but, I mean, it's just one of those things you kind of, I don't know what more to say. August 25th, Wayne Shorter, the American jazz saxophonist and composer, was born. We also had Tom Skerritt, the actor known for Alien. September 1st, 1933, Conway Twitty, the American country music artist, was born, and he died in 1993. Now, I have to say, like, Conway Twitty, he's an interesting story because he created some music that's actually pretty lame, right? But actually, like, some of his earlier stuff was actually more on the rockabilly side, and therefore, in my book, considerably cooler. Like, some of it's actually, you might hear it and be like, that's Conway Twitty, holy crap. And anyway, moving on to September 11th, 1933, we had William Luther Pierce, the American author, activist, and Nazi asshole. I'm surprised that Wikipedia just had it as American author and activist, even though he was like a twisted white nationalist Nazi type. But anyway, he died in 2002. I have heard of him, so I included him in this list. And on September 18th, 1933, Fred Willard, the actor and comedian, he's been in a lot of funny stuff. He has sort of a unique delivery that's he's just funny. I'll just keep it like that. Anyway, he died last year, 2020. September 27th, 1933, Will Sampson, the American actor. He died in 1987 as well. Anyway, he played Chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He also died pretty young, sadly. October 10th, 1933, Jay Sebring was born, the hairstylist who was murdered by the Manson family in 1969. November 3rd, Michael Dukakis, American politician and the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party in 1988. Anyway, he was born in 1933. November 19th, Larry King, the talk show host. He was born in 1933, and he just died this year, obviously 2021. So we're moving on to November 23, 1933. Kurzistov Pandersky, the Polish composer and conductor, he also died in 2020, last year. Oddly enough, even though he plays this avant-garde and freaky classical music, or he composed it, I should say, you've probably heard his stuff because some of his music is in horror movies like The Shining. So there's actually a good chance you've heard some of his stuff. Anyway, November 26, 1933, Robert Goulet, the entertainer and singer, crooner, if you will, was born, and he died in 2007. You might have seen him also in Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, where he actually plays the antagonist, the villain, maybe you could call him. November 28th, 1933, Hope Lange, the American actress. She died in 2003. I recognize her from A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and she also appears in Blue Velvet. So, I actually know her from 2 movies, personally. November 29th, 1933, we had John Mayall, the English blues musician. December 1st, 1933, Lou Rawls, the singer, songwriter, actor, voice actor, and record producer. He also died in 2006. December 4th, Wink Martindale, the American game show host and DJ. December 10th, 1933, Mako, the Japanese-born actor. He died in 2006. He was in a lot of stuff, even if you don't recognize him by name. You've probably seen him or heard him somewhere. So go ahead and just look at his IMDb page or the Wikipedia page, and really you'll see a lot of different stuff there. His name is Mako. Apparently he preferred to just be known by that moniker. And December 15th, we had Tim Conway, the actor and comedian, known for playing Dorf. I guess he died in 2019, so he lived a pretty long life. So anyway, we're going to move on to the 1933 deaths. Now, a lot of these people I don't really know that well, but I decided to put them on here. So we have January 5th, 1933, Calvin Coolidge, the 30th President of the United States. He was born back in 1872. February 15th, Pat Sullivan, the Australian-born director, producer of animated films like Felix the Cat. He died in 1933. March 14th, Balto, the American sled dog, died in 1933. I shouldn't have to keep saying that, but I'm still doing it. He was born in 1919. March 20th, 1933, Giuseppe Zangara, the attempted assassin of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, died. He was born in 1900. March 26, 1933, Eddie Lang, the American musician, often called the father of jazz guitar. He died. And I actually, I admit I wasn't really familiar with him, but I looked up who he was, and it seemed like a pretty noteworthy person to add. On May 26, 1933, Jimmy Rogers died, the American country singer. He helped solidify yodeling in country music, for better or worse. Definitely influential. And finally, I've added Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, the American actor, comedian, film director, and screenwriter. He died on June 29th, 1933, and he was born in 1887. So, yeah, that was quite a list of people. Hopefully you found some value in this video. I might have been providing some insights here and there. Maybe you don't like it. Whatever, who knows. Everything seems to get downvoted on YouTube anyway, no matter how good it is. So, you could have the greatest freaking video on earth uploaded and it'll get like 100 downvotes or whatever. So, you can't really go by that kind of crap anyway. But anyway, it's been alright. I'll be back with another reaction to a year at some point. So, yeah. Have a good night, or day, or morning, whatever.